Good evening. Well, for those of you who, don't recognise this place, this is Steetley Pier. And I'm trying out the hohem gimbal with its follow me function on the GoPro. I don't think I'm ever going to get bored with this. I do, as I say, have to be a little bit careful what I do with my hands, because I'm expressive with my hands and it picks it up and thinks I'm telling it to turn off. Anyway, we are an hour and a bit off of high tide. We're at the pier. The water is a lot further in than I expected. High tide is 9:15, sunset is about the same. So I've timed that right. I'm looking for some really minimal shots. Unfortunately, out on the horizon, we have 1, 2, 3 boats. And they've anchored there for some reason. Whether there's a problem at port, I don't know. We have these groins, and I think that's going to be my first subject. I'm having to shoot this side because otherwise I'm going to get the pier in. And it's so warm. I stood here in just my shirt sleeves and it is 8 o'clock, 8:10, something like that. So I'm going to get set up. The tide is coming in very slowly, which is really useful because I've been playing with the gimbal. I can't get over the fact that it follows you around. It's absolutely brilliant. It's nice to be able to walk around. I'm going to stick the 17-55 on. We're going to put a polarizer on. I'm going to put the 10 stop on because there is a bank of cloud which is really annoying. Very little wind. I'm hoping I'll manage to get a little bit of dragging action. And actually this is it's an outfall pipe, but I'm not seeing most of it at the moment, which is fine. We're just getting the remains of these wooden groins. We're starting off quite high here, and then we dip down considerably. I don't know if it's going to make an image, but we're going to give it a go. So with that, I'm going to shut up, put the camera on. I had hoped that we would get some beautiful light and light up some of these clouds. It's not happening, let me tell you. The sand is amazing. It's the golden colour, and then there's streaks of black from the coal mines. Excuse me, I'm just trying to figure out if I can lighten that a bit. That's better. I've got the polarizer on slightly the wrong angle, but I'm not too concerned. I'm on f7.1 and we're on 86 seconds. I think what I'm going to do is just bump the ice up a smidge. Right, let's have a go at that. Nice, simple, straightforward composition. I have 3 larger groins, and then you can just see 2 of the broken ones, or 2 of the smaller ones rather, as they go out. There is going to be some cloning because those 3 ships that are out there aren't moving at all, and they're getting in my horizon. I'm getting a very, very small amount of cloud movement. Very small amount of cloud movement. The sun has disappeared behind a bank of cloud. It keeps popping out a little bit, but not a huge amount. So we'll just have to work with what we've got. There's some more groins over at the other side that are threatening to go underwater. My bag is well out of the way because I know it's an incoming tide. So I'm just going to see how this one goes. I'm shooting portrait with just the 10 stop and the reverse grad on because the sky is so much brighter than the sea. I am going to try one landscape. The difficulty is positioning it so that it doesn't have any of the big pier encroaching in it. But we'll have a go. Right, I'm just going to finish letting that cook. sun is going down and the tide is coming in really rapidly. I'm having to move a little bit faster than maybe I normally would. So I've come around to the left-hand side of the groins in the vain hope that the sun might drop again below the cloud line and put some light on this side of the groins. Oh, excuse me, I need to move my camera back before it gets wet. Oh, that's it. Oh, I have to keep an eye on that as well. I've gone portrait orientation on this one. It's a little bit tight. I wanted these 3 groins in, and I wanted the second half of the pier, but there's such a small gap between the 2 parts of the pier that it makes it a little bit close on the right hand side of the image. I think I've managed to compose it so that I've got just a little bit of breathing space on the right and a little bit of breathing space on the left. And there's a pesky ship just poking its nose over the end of the pier. The cloud has all but disappeared. Hey ho, you can't have everything. It's not raining and it's nice and warm. I'm shooting at f10. I've got ISO 200 because whilst I want long exposures, I didn't want to stand here for 10 minutes. I've still got the polarizer on, I've still got the 10 stop, and I've still got the reverse grad. Oh, excuse me. I can't tell you how calm it is here. It's so calm, the seabirds are just bobbing along on the top of the water. I think I'm at about 130 seconds on this. So I'm just going to give it a few more seconds and then we're going to have a look. Ah. It doesn't even smell like the seaside here. It's really weird. You normally get a seaweedy, salty type smell and there's nothing. Apart from the crashing of the waves, you wouldn't know you're at the seaside. Right, let's have a look, see what we're doing. Oh, that's better. That's better, so it is. I just want to jiggle with those filters a little bit. So I've got everything in square. I'm not sure I've got that filter in square. Ah, no I haven't. I've got it in cockled, you dozy twonk. I've got a little bit of light bleed at the bottom of the image and I couldn't figure out why, but that's why. Because I'd got the left hand side of the filter in one slot and the right hand side of the filter in the forward slot, so it was just letting a little bit of light in. So I'm just going to let that cook again. Back in a minute. Coming out for sunset has reminded me of one of the reasons I don't shoot sunsets very often, and that is because you are so limited on time. Ooh, an Arctic tern, I think. The sun is dipping behind the bank of cloud. I'm already on about a 2-minute exposure. I'm just going to leave it a little bit longer. I've changed compositions again. Let me just show you. We have now shooting on the pier, or the jetty going out there, and this row of groins. Those ships are going to get cloned out. Oh. And that's it. So I've got sort of an arrow coming in there and the jetty going out that way. I believe that will work. The sky is disappointing, to say the least. I'd really hoped for some beautiful streaky clouds. It's been beautiful sky all the way up here. Oh, pants. But never mind. I'd wanted to do... Oh, actually, yes, quite like that. I'd wanted to do an Izzy. Now, if you haven't seen Izzy Abelila's channel, go take a look. He does the most amazing long exposures. You think mine are long. Izzy does like 4 or 5 minute exposures. I get bored, so I can't do that. But, and if we'd had a decent sky, I was going to do that. I was going to stick the 10 stop on and the 6 stop and just watch the waves come in. But with the lack of clouds, I really don't think it's worth it. They're not moving at all. And in the background, you can see we have got a huge bank of cloud. The sun's not going to dip beyond that or below that anytime soon, if ever. That's just going to go down without any hurrah. But hey ho. Right, I'm going to double check that image is okay, focus, because I'm shooting quite close to the left-hand groins. And I think that's probably going to be about it. Because the groins at the far side aren't underwater, the tide's not high enough. And I was hoping to do some shorter exposures and get some streakiness in the water. But the tide is that calm, the water is that calm, I'm not getting the streakiness. I keep having to move back and keep a check on my bag as well. But it's nice just being at the coast. Well, that's definitely it. And I've got the torch on, full power. No idea at this moment in time how much difference it's making, if any. Sunset didn't happen. There was a hint of colour in the sky over that way, but nothing to write home about. There's a lovely bank of cloud lurking up here, and I'd hoped it was going to come over. So I'm just doing an Izzy. I've put the 10 stop back on and I'm just playing because I can, because it's a beautiful evening at the coast. There's no rain, there's barely a breath of wind, and it's just lovely. So thank you for coming along. I'll pop up the images I've got. Hopefully they've turned out okay. And I'll see you next weekend. Who knows where we'll be? But have a great week. Bye!